She sings in the church choir too, said Doll. Don't scare the boy off, said Neil. Mom, Dad, please, said Misty, who had overheard her parents as she entered the house, then the kitchen. I felt like a dirty young man. She was 19, a wisp of a girl, 5 feet tall and 90 pounds, with straight brown hair and bangs. My virgin detector went on high alert. Naturally, I picked her up the next night for our first date. While she finished getting ready, I waited in the kitchen with her dad. Neil was flexing his forearms. You know how I got these forearms, Jamie? He asked. I shrugged. Scooping ice cream, he said. I used to work at an ice cream shop when I was in high school. That's where I met Doll, and I'd scoop ice cream all night long. Look at that, he said, flexing one arm. Wow, I said, impressed. I was immediately sure that Neil was making a veiled reference to throttling the air from my lungs with those forearms, should anything happen to his Misty. I didn't want to disappoint him, at least not until I got Misty out of the house. I don't remember where I took her that night. Dinner? Ice cream? The important thing is that we ended up on my dad's couch watching movies and eating Natchitoches meat pies. I was hooked, I'm telling you. She asked me about baseball, and I happily regaled her with heroic stories about how I was a redshirt left-handed pitcher who couldn't find the plate. It got late. We traded soft kisses and then traded bites of a pie. Eventually, tired from the workday, I rested my head on her lap. While she brushed a hand through my hair, the conversation entered that late-night zone where walls collapse and the truth slips out, like details of a sleep talker's dream. I told her about my grades and my girlfriend back home. She told me she was a virgin, and I secretly patted myself on the back. We made a unique couple. She'd take me places in her Hyundai. She hated the rocket. She did well at the university. I was dim. I liked listening to Tom Petty. She liked to blare Amy Grant when Amy Grant was pop gospel. At top volume in her car, windows rolled up, singing along as if she were in church. I liked daydreaming. She liked asking me what I wanted to do with my life. Each night, we would end up on my dad's couch making out. I was hoping to teach the choir girl to sing the praises of premarital sex. Things would get heated, skin rubbing and pushing, breath rising. I'd make a move to the promised land. She'd stop me in a voice as certain as a church hymn. Not yet. Rejected, I'd head to the freezer for a tasty meat pie. It was my first actualized experience of the connection between sex and food. I was merely heading to where the pie was plentiful. I was projecting my raging libido onto those pastries. I couldn't get enough of them. I dreamed about them, wished for them while steam cleaning, while driving the rocket. One morning, Dad came into the kitchen and said, "We've run out of meat pies." "Yeah," I said. "That was my summer supply," he said. It was late May. Can we get some more?" I asked. I assumed we could pick some up at Publix or something. He walked out. Apparently there were ways to make the pies, but the best pies came from the place they're named after. Later, we formed a plan. I would take the next day off from steam cleaning and drive to Natchitoches. "Why don't you call Misty and ask her to go?" Dad suggested. I did. She had class but said she'd skip it. I should have known not to take the rocket, but who thinks at 18? Besides, I saw the potential of my life as a Jeep commercial. The open road in front of me, the sun overhead, and a girl at my side. The journey took Misty and me southwest to Natchitoches, along Interstate 20, to U.S. highway routes populated by roadkill and semis. But the scenery mattered not to me. I was just happy to be away from work. Plus, there was a vague hope that Misty, away from her dad's gravitational pull, would lose touch with her virgin self and suggest a spontaneous rendezvous in the back of the rocket. If that failed, there was the tangible idea that we'd soon be loaded down with delicious meat pies. We listened to Amy Grant and Tom Petty. We talked. She got quiet. She had something she wanted to tell me, because she really liked me, she said. "I had a brother," she said. She told me he was younger than she, older than her sister. He was killed in a boating accident. Neil's flexed forearms and Doll's sad eyes suddenly made sense. I got lost and didn't admit it for an hour. By the time we pulled into Natchitoches, we were sun and wind-burned, thirsty, tired. We stopped at 7-Eleven for drinks. Natchitoches is home to Northwestern State University, but bills itself as the oldest permanent settlement in the land that made up Louisiana Purchase. It's located on the banks of the Cane River Lake, and the town has a population of 40,000 now, with 10,000 taking classes at the university. I remember crooked streets through century-old neighborhoods in downtown. We pulled up to Lazione's Meat Pie Kitchen on 2nd Street, one of several Natchitoches shops that sell pies for $2 a pop. "Where you been?" the gray-haired black woman said as we walked in. "What?" I said. "You're picking up the meat pies, right?" she asked. "We've been waiting for you." We got turned around, I offered. "Help me with this," the woman said. We picked up a large styrofoam cooler stocked with meat pies and loaded it in the back of the rocket. I tried to give her my dad's credit card. She waved it off. "Your dad already paid," she said, walking back to the store. If only the rest of the journey had gone so smoothly. We rode east in the rocket as thunderheads formed behind us, cruised on high winds to eventually cover us. I hadn't brought the rocket's top. Who thinks at 18? The rain started falling somewhere in the middle of nowhere, when the open road offered no shelter. I handed Misty a dirty towel from the back seat. The rocket began to misbehave. Apparently the tires were not unlike the slicks found on dragsters, making the rocket's light frame and powerful engine a model for hydroplaning. I ignored the first couple of slides to the side of the road, ignored the 10-foot drop to a water and mud-filled gully. In fact, I gassed the rocket's V8, using the logic that speed was my only weapon for escaping the rain. The rocket started sliding again and didn't stop. We left the road, bouncing out of control toward a ditch. I still have a picture in my mind of that moment, like a Polaroid, smeared at the edges and far away. Neil's baby, her 90-pound frame in midair, hovering over the rocket's passenger seat, over the gully, like a doll, held only by a loose seatbelt strap, reaching over her skinny pink thighs. I reached for her, grabbed her in an awkward place, lost her, saw the gully move closer, prayed with Misty, bounced more, lurched to a stop. A semi roared past. Misty was still with us. So were the pies. Cars sprayed us. I heard my heart and thought it was the engine. I tried to drive but went nowhere. So much for reinvention. I was still an idiot. I started the rocket and slowly pulled out. We were soaked. We didn't say a word. It was dark when we got back to Monroe. I pulled up to Misty's house and she gave me a peck and got out. We didn't talk for 2 days. When I called, she seemed distracted and said I seemed distracted. Regardless, my time in Monroe was running out, so we made the effort to meet on the couch a few more times, but it never happened. I have no doubt the relationship would have failed had I stuck around, but this was the first time I had left before getting through that initial phase of getting to know a person. The relationship was left in eternal limbo. Before heading to the airport, Dad and I stopped by Neil and Doll's house. I have no recollection of the goodbye scene with Misty, just the firm handshake from Neil and the awkward farewell with her mom, as she surprised me with tears and a hug, then gave me an 8x10 high school photo of Misty that I had no idea what I was supposed to do with. "Come back and see us soon," she said. "I will," I said, "definitely." Of course, I didn't. Dad took me to my plane. My luggage included a small cooler of meat pies. I ate all of them within a week. Misty and I wrote to each other a couple of times. I went back to school, and I learned how to type. Thank you.